Hi folks, I'm Chief Kirk and welcome to my channel. Today what I'd like to talk a little bit about is how to do flint and steel fire on the cheap. Now you can order some pretty fancy strikers, and you can also buy flint or chert online, and these things are fairly expensive. I've seen these go for over $30 plus shipping. And this stuff you can buy, last time I priced it, and it's been a while, my memory's not all that good, so I'm thinking it was about $5 to $8 for a piece this size plus shipping. Now if you live in an area where you have flint laying around that you can go out and pick up for free, that's awesome. In my area, we don't have flint, but we have some chert and some stuff called rhyolite, and it works. It's not as good as flint, but it works. It'll do just fine. Now, you can also do what I did, and I got up this morning and I went to the yard sale, or the flea market. It wasn't a yard sale, it was a flea market, and it's a big flea market. And every time I go, there's always several locations where they have old Indian artifacts uh, that somebody's found laying around. For an example, here's one that I picked up today, and I'm going to show it to you closer. This is actually what used to be a spear point. It's way too big for an arrowhead. A lot of folks, if it's shaped like an arrowhead, they call it an arrowhead, but this is actually a spear point. Arrowheads are about the size of your thumb, or at least the first joint. And gosh, I hate to think how old this thing is. It's probably several hundred years old. But when I saw it and it broken like that, I thought, wonder if that would work for flint and steel. And so I happened to carry, I always carry my striker with me. Got my little pouch and everything, and I keep it in my pocket all the time. And so I pulled it out to see if it would work, and boy, that thing is just throwing some sparks. And I went, all right. And the guy had this piece right here, which I'll show you that too. It's also, this has been flaked, and it was just probably a piece of a smaller piece from the large piece that somebody flaked off when they were getting ready to make arrowheads and stuff, and that's what I'm figuring it is. And exactly what type of material this is, I'm not real sure. It's probably some kind of chert, but I'm gonna check and see if it'll work. Oh my goodness, yes, it is throwing sparks. Now I have another piece here which is a different color, and it's throwing a bunch of sparks too. Now when I said doing this on the cheap, I actually got this cheap because a really good friend of mine made it for me and gave it to me. But it was made out of a file. And I went to another flea market a good while back. I like flea markets. You can pick up all kinds of junk for nothing. But I found a file, a Nicholson file, and you know, they're made out of carbon steel, and they make excellent strikers. All you have to do is just break it in pieces like this, or whatever size you'd like to have off of it. The file I bought turned into 3 pieces, and then smooth the edge. And you can do that with a disc grinder, or if you don't have a disc grinder, you can do it like on concrete on your driveway or anything like that. It takes a little time and elbow grease to rub it, but you can rub it off. If you don't get the grooves off of it, it'll eat your flint up real bad. This thing works too, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm getting sparks. Good sparks. Just as good sparks as this, although this is also a foul. So, you don't have to put a whole lot of money into this. Uh, it can be very inexpensive. Like I said, you can find rocks around. Now, where I am, everywhere I look, I have quartz. Quartz works just fine. It's not as good as this stuff, but it does throw sparks, and you can use it to make a fire with. And speaking of which, I'm going to attempt to make a fire with some of my new stuff here. Yeah, I've got some char cloth here that I made in this little Altoids tin right here. And I'm gonna tear it apart, which exposes. See how it exposes all of those threads and stuff? And that's what'll catch easier than if it hits on the back side of it. So I'm gonna put the shredded edges up on here. I got me some paper I'm using for a bird's nest. And let's see if this thing will work. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to tell you. I was at Walmart yesterday and I found this, which is actually just a knife sharpening stone. It's got a coarse side and a finer side to it, and it was broke just like you see it. And I asked the lady at the behind the counter, and she gave it to me for nearly nothing. And it will actually, not as good, but you can actually see. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's sparks that come off of that. So if you've got a sharpening stone in your pack and you're getting a real pinch and need a stone, it'll work. Not real good, but it'll take some patience to make it work. But then again, it may send a spark and light your char cloth first try. Speaking of which, let's see if this will work. Man. Now it's real light out here and it's hard to see. But it sure is throwing sparks. And I got a spark. Uh-oh, I think it went out. Okay, let's put some more on it. See what happens. It ain't burning real good, but it is red. So let's put it in here and see if we can. We have fire. Fire's hot too. All right. So you can see that my flea market flint has done a real good job. Now, I'm going to try to do it again if I got another piece of char cloth, and this time I'm going to do it with the file. I do have char cloth. All right. Once again, I'm going to tear it in half and expose those little fibers. And I'm going to try it with this piece of flint that I bought today. Well, the rock that I bought today, I think it's chert. And we'll see how this, if this will produce a spark with the file. Gosh, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but there's sparks going everywhere. They're just not landing in the right place. Okay, let me move it to a different spot and see if that helps any. It's an edge right there. Let's try that. Golly, it's throwing a lot of sparks. Probably setting my shirt on fire. If my eyebrows disappear, you know I set my shirt on fire. I have got sparks going everywhere. They're just not, it's not taking. So, let me find a different edge here somewhere and see if it helps. But there's sparks jumping. Okay. Try it right here. Alright, let me try it with this one right here. That one's throwing good sparks, and it's just not hitting in the right spot is all, but it is really throwing sparks. I hope you all can see that this thing is actually throwing good sparks, which proves the point that I was trying to make, that even with just a file you can get good sparks. Getting them to land on the char cloth and getting it to catch, that's the next trick. Some of them are landing there that's not trying to catch. Alright. Actually, there's sparks hitting all over the cloth. They're just not catching for some reason or other. I wonder if maybe that piece may be damp. Okay, I had some more hit on it. Let's See if I got any more in here. I got one little piece left. Let's see if it'll work. Again, there's sparks all over it. I know you guys can see these sparks, and they're really good sparks, and they're landing on this char cloth, but this char cloth is not taken. It may have gotten damp because I had it in this tin and it's got a hole in it. It may have drawn some dampness. Not working too good. All right. Well, there's several more hit right on it. They're all over it. Char cloth must be damp, folks. These sparks have hit all over this thing. I don't know if you can still see it or not. See them? You can see them landing on it. But they are not taken. The char cloth will burn. Oh yes, it will burn. The char cloth will burn. The char cloth is burning. We have fire. Yes, we do. All right. I refuse to be defeated on getting the char cloth to burn. Had the ferrocerium rod not worked, I'm pretty sure that somewhere in my other pocket I have a lighter, a big lighter. So one way or the other, it was going to light. Anyhow, this has been fun. Thank you so much for staying with me, and especially while I was beating and thumping on that piece of cloth that wasn't working too good. So anyhow, until I see you next time, God bless you, and thank you.